Hello, everybody. It's Michelle Alcorn here from Atlantic Canada Cooks. And it is Sunday, July 28th. I know the whole world feels the same way. Where is this year going? I know we've been eating our way through it because, that is always a fantastic thing to do. And today's theme in this middle of July or end of July, it's on camping foods and snacks. And here in Atlantic Canada, we do an extraordinary amount of camping during this time of year. As many of you know, the weather, our winter's a winter, but we have winter campers too. So don't think that we don't camp in the winter, because we absolutely do year round. But the summer we get extra excited. And Mom, I think we grew up, my entire childhood, we grew up camping.
We did.
We did almost every weekend in the summertime when the kids were off school. We would travel across Atlantic Canada many times to Prince Edward Island. I have great memories there. And just visit. And a lot of the foods were similar, a lot of salads, a lot of things. But today we're going to focus on some easy things. And I'm traveling later today. And I'm going to be getting on an airplane in Morocco. So I'm so excited. Jawad's here from Morocco and some of our Morocco friends online on YouTube right now. And we're going to talk about some fun foods while we're there. A lot. Very excited. But it's interesting that I'm making trail mix today, or like a granola. And Mom and I love that. I'm going to make enough that I can bring a little snack for my 18-hour airplane trip, and then obviously leave Mom some snacks. Hey, Shinobu. So granola is really easy to make. And I want to tell you something about granola. You can really put any different types of ingredients in it, or sometimes we call this trail mix here. And why? Because you get a bag of it in your pocket, and you take a walk on a nice hiking trail.
Yeah.
So it's trail mix. And inside of it, when this one, we're going to put in, we've got some raisins. I've got some dried pumpkin seeds. We were at the Arabia store yesterday, having a great visit there. Drop by there on St. George Street. We've got some almonds. And Mom and I love coconut.
Yeah.
So we've got some shredded coconut in here. And then here, we've got some rolled oats. And then I also have some regular dried pumpkin seeds. And this is hemp hearts. And the hemp hearts and everything that's in here make these a really high protein mix. And that's what we want. We got a nice high protein mix. So now I've got that beautiful bowl. We're going to mix all that up. And this is what I really like about this recipe. It is simple. So put whatever nuts that you like in it. And you'll be able to bring this along. And it's great in between the other meals. Like we're going to talk about hamburgers. Today is hamburger day. So that's exciting. Gotta love that. Now I know you don't have maple syrup everywhere in the world. But use a little extra honey when you're doing this. And I've got some honey. I am going to put about 1/4 of a cup of maple syrup that's going to go into that. And I need around the same amount of honey. But my honey was hard. And my honey was at the bottom of the bottle. So I had it sitting in my sink in some hot water to soften it up. So we're going to get that honey in there. Get it off my spoon. So if you don't have a microwave or whatever, if you just sit honey in hot water, it'll get real soft. Honey is an amazing ingredient. It's probably one of the most ingredients in the world. And I love it. If you ever get a paper cut, and I'd say raise your hand if you had a paper cut, and the world would raise its hand. Put a little bit of honey and a Band-Aid over it. And I tell you, you message me in a couple of days, that paper cut will be, the sting will be gone. It won't hurt anymore. And it'll be healed up pretty quick. And let's just say it's finger licking good. Don't keep licking the thing. Put the Band-Aid on it. So we're gonna mix this up. It's coming together. And I think because my honey was not as liquidy as I like it to be, I'm gonna add a little extra maple syrup. The other thing that goes in here, and you can use a coconut oil. I'm gonna use olive oil. And I'm also gonna put about 1/4 of a cup of olive oil. And remember, we are gonna bake this in the oven. And cinnamon. So you can use cinnamon or nutmeg, or cinnamon and nutmeg combination. I just put a little bit of cinnamon. We know Rosalind comes in and cooks. Sometimes she loves cinnamon. I've been putting a cinnamon stick in my coffee lately. And it says it's supposed to help with your metabolism and digestion. So gives me an excuse to drink more coffee. So I'm okay with that. So here's how the mixture comes together. It's fairly loose, but everything in the bowl is nice and wet. So we've got the ingredients, and really you could eat it like a cereal right now if you wanted to. But behind me, I've got a big sheet pan here. And what I'm going to do, and I already have my parchment. Parchment's amazing. I have to tell you, whoever thought of it, I hope is doing really well in life. It saved a lot of burnt recipes and a lot of stuck recipes over time. Hey, Dion. We love seeing Dion come in from Halifax. I bet you Dion loves trail mix because he does a lot of walking. He's our walker. So we've got this granola in the pan, and I'm just going to spread it out. And I don't want to leave it a little bit in chunks. So flatten it out. And what it's going to come out like, hopefully, it's going to come out and I'll be able to crack it into like chunks. And that's going to be one of my snacks to take away while I'm traveling, and a great snack for Mom, but a perfect camping snack. And you can put it as thick and thin as you want. I'm just going to leave it as kind of thick like a bar. There we go. So that's going to, ooh, there is a 3D look. That's going to go into the oven. We have our oven preheated at 350. Don't. Double check that timer. 25 minutes. Or, yeah, 25 minutes is right. My timer's giving me a hard time today. So we've got our trail mix in, and that is like, put your family's favorite snacks when you're camping. And obviously apples, oranges, all of those things are great. But the next thing I'm going to do, and I have featured this before a couple of years ago, and I love corn on the cob. It's a great ingredient for different times of year, especially great now. They're starting to harvest it in Canada, late August and September. There'll be so much corn everywhere. But I was enjoying the fact that I've got some early corn. And this is a way, because sometimes you're camping, extra people come, you know, we need a little extra food around. So chips, of course, are always a fantastic one. And some of Michelle's favorite, we're talking about these ketchup chips. So I am going to attempt to bring a couple of bags with me to Morocco. They might be ketchup crumbs, Jawad, by the time they get to you. But this is the Flavor by Lay's that's only made in Canada. And it's one of those uniquely Canadian and fun things. So I love bringing some chips. And Michelle's favorite Doritos. Good with everything. And the reason I like camping with things like that, like Doritos and corn chips, and you can bring some pre-made salsa and some pre-made things, and you've got lots of extra snacks to get with. Today is also going to be about hot dogs, because no campfire is right without a hot dog. And I'm gonna get Mom cooking our hot dogs here. But I'll tell you something, and I'm getting wet on my phone. We like to cook hot dogs over the fire. And that's probably the easiest because as kids, Mom would give us a stick like this and say, put your hot dog on the stick and bring it back to me when it's done. And we would just slide it into the bun and then put our favorite things on it. And it would be like, and we're done. I always like ketchup and relish. Now I like everything. But you know, hot dogs, I think, are a really big thing all over the world. There's a version of it somewhere. So what we're gonna do today is Mom is not gonna roast these over a fire.
No, she's not.
We're gonna save that. But we also like to do a thing called spider dogs. So Mom and I are I'm gonna show you what a spider dog is, but we are gonna put them in the frying pan and we'll see how much they curl up. So the key is put your 2 fingers in the middle and we're gonna cut either end of this hot dog into quarters. So I'm just gonna set it on my board to make it easier. But you want to be careful to not cut the middle because that's the body of the spider and usually where you stick your stick. Because if I was roasting these, I gotta see where that is now. And I love these because what we're doing here is you don't usually use a bun with this one. You just dip it. In ketchup or all the different dips. So you would, if we were doing it on a campfire, we'd roast it like this and all those would separate. But we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna give that spider dog now.
We'll try it in the frying pan.
We're gonna try to get that frying pan hot and then give it the second one. Yeah. So I'm gonna cut this second one up. And in all honesty, when you're cutting them like this, they get crispy on all the edges, which is awesome. And they cook a little quicker. And there we go. So I cut that one into the 4. And as I said, especially when you're out by a campfire at night, and each one of these curls up, and then you can snack on your dog. And as we often say, food is meant to be soft. Always have some good dipping sauces and things ready. So we boiled some water. Let's go back to our cooler corn. I have a very big cooler. This is just a little baby one. Great just for a day trip that you're bringing a few things with you. It's got a little cover, it flips over and makes it like a little table with 2 drink holders in it. It's all cleaned out really well. And what I'm going to do is we've got these beautiful cobs of corn. I'm just cleaning the little fronds off the end. This is called a bread and butter corn. Hopefully you can see some kernels are really light and some are a little bit more yellow. So this is so great. I could put about 10 in here, to be honest with you, because the 4 only went to there. Not much. So sometimes when you're camping, some things are harder to get than others. Usually you can boil water. So we're going to pour, oh, and Michelle's going to stand back. As you see, we boiled the kettle. We're going to be able to put it all over them. So those corn now are almost completely submerged in the water. Most important thing, quickly get the cover on, hold in the heat, and in 15 minutes, we'll come back and check on the corn. And the corn will be ready. And oftentimes camping has friends and there's people at different campsite and you're cooking 30 or 40 corn or a corn boil, as we would call them. And that can take a lot of time in pots. So I have one big cooler in my garage that I dedicate just for making cooler corn. It's a great thing. So with the cooler corn, you can come out traditionally a little salt and pepper and butter. So what I've done, I went out picking this morning, and this is fresh thyme from my garden. So what I'm gonna do in a bowl here, I'm just gonna make an herb butter. And I'll tell you something about an herb butter is you can use it on, so many things in your life. It is wonderful to take camping because you can use it in a sandwich. I like if you're gonna do some vegetables, either fried or steamed vegetables.
Steak?
It's steak,
Oh, yeah.
always steak for Helen. A good beef steak, absolutely.
Put a nice compound butter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what I do now is I'll bring some regular butter and then I will take and mix up a flavored butter to have in a container. This is cilantro and the thyme I picked out of my garden this morning. So they're really nice and fresh. I also say when you're camping, bring a pair of kitchen scissors. As we know, I think you should have kitchen scissors all the time. But they're specifically handy because everyone's always looking for the one knife that you did bring, and everybody's trying to find it. And I hope some of you saying the chat box are getting out and doing some camping. Here in Atlantic Canada, we do a lot of day camping. I know I am excited to spend a day camping trip or an adventure with Jawad and his wife. I'm gonna put a little salt and some fresh cracked pepper in this. Now you can add any seasoning you want. I feel like I want a little garlic too. But somehow I wasn't using garlic. And that just doesn't feel right. So Michelle is gonna check. I've got every other spice in front of me but garlic. There we are.
You have to.
I knew it was there. I did try to put them in alphabetical order one day. I just wasn't able to keep my process going. So I'm going to put probably about a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Yeah, we can use that. Absolutely, Mom. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that butter. And when you want to mix it, make sure you're using a soft butter so that it mixes through really well. I'm using a knife. I would recommend you using a fork. You'll be able to push it through. There it goes. And that butter is going to be delicious on really anything that you have. That'd be amazing on a grilled cheese sandwich, anything like that. But going camping, I would pack one container with a nice mixed seasoned butter, and then another plain one. So for my guests that may not want all the yummy seasoning, we've got that together. Actually smells amazing. And that'll be great with the corn, which I didn't put a timer on. Oh, Helen. She nailed the spider dogs.
We've got the spiders here.
Spiders here. Mom, I'm so impressed. How are we going to get them in our bun now?
After all these years, she wouldn't be. I still do a few things.
You can do all, but you just I didn't know they were going to get all spidered up.
I
So
know
good.
they did, didn't they?
Wow, that's hot. Look at this. We're rocking the spider dogs. That's usually easier to do on a campfire. We're going to have a harder time sticking that in the bun. So we're going to get a bun here and we're going to get this done up. What's that?
Its legs will hang out.
Legs will hang out. Make it easier for biting.
Take that bun and put it in the hot pan.
Okay. So Mom's got a bun here. I'm going to do her up a hot dog. She's going to put it in the hot pan. So traveling when you're camping, bringing things already sliced up, already ready to go is definitely one of the tips that you want to have. So we've often traveled with cheese slices instead of big bricks of cheese or grated cheese because they're going to be messy. And these are really great because you can just easily break them and into little strips because they're so soft. And I like these for hot dogs and hamburgers because the cheese is really creamy. So we're going to get that for Mom's hot dog ready. I'm still impressed that she got those dogs to do that. One of our other pre-done snacks that are really great to bring camping is cherries. So I love cherries. So these are beautiful cherries. Keep them cool so they stay nice and fresh. I'm just going to check on our...
Something dinged there. All good? Oh, it's still 13 minutes.
It's cooking away. We're going to get ingredients out. I know Mom loves some relish and mustard. Are some of her favorites, but not that mustard because that's a spicy mustard. And set the bun right there, Mom. I'm just going to get you your sweet mustard.
Ooh, look at that.
She's very proud of herself. She also toasted the bun to perfection.
I've done a few in my life.
You're going to have the perfect breakfast dog here. And that, can you grab a knife out, Mom? That's the other thing about camping. I think it was always a permission to eat different foods at different times of the day that didn't make sense.
That's right.
So if the kids woke up in the morning and I'm like, I want a hot dog. We cooked a hot dog. And that was breakfast. So we're going to build Mom a really nice spider dog. I love this fact that you're going to have like a breakfast spider dog. So very fun. So we've got our bun. So we're going to spoil Mom a little bit. I am going to take a little bit of that nice compound butter.
Okay.
Yeah, she's already excited. And spread that on the bun. Can you see the herbs? And then, you know what's really great with a spider dog like this? All the ingredients are really going to fall down.
Fall right in the cracks.
Oh, yeah. She's going to have ingredients all over this. So my mom loves honey mustard. I know this. So we're going to get her a little honey mustard out and drizzle that across the top. And you always want to bring your squeezy bottles when you're traveling. They're so much easier to deal with and less clean up.
Asshole.
We're going to slide one of those pieces of cheeses down the side. So she's going to have a nice cheese
Relish.
mustard. And I know we're going to chop it off with the relish. I'm also a good mustard relish girl. I think that's going to have. We've got your green onions right here, Mom. Mom loves onions. Mom loves onions, but this onion clearly is hanging out with some mint. We weren't aiming for the mint. So I'm just going to set this here.
Yeah.
There we go. So again, I see that same thing. I might not always camping when you're traveling with some green onions and your trusty scissors. And they're a lot lighter, right, Mom?
Yeah.
Than you get that nice onion flavor, but it's not gonna, well, especially because you're having a breakfast dog. We don't want to overdo it.
No. That's good.
There we go. We'll show everybody. Clean that up.
There you go.
I have a feeling Mom's going to show you her dog and disappear to eat it. Come right around the front here, Mom.
There we go. Little mustard, cheese, relish, and onions.
So there we go. An amazing camping dog. And I got to tell you, I want a bite. We're going to let you go for it. There's a second one here.
That's right.
I will make that for me. All good, Mom.
Thank
Just
you.
sit and enjoy that. I'm going to show them the potatoes I grew up with Mom making for us. So camp lights are important. So have your extra lights. This is great. This is a USB charger. We're going to use it as a nice backlight today. We did not visit our friends at MacArthur's flower shop today, but my mom's going to go over this week to get some fresh flowers. We love having those in our week. I'm going to be excited running around Morocco, seeing all kinds of fresh flowers every day. So potatoes would be another thing that is, you know, we eat a lot of different potatoes. There's a couple of different ways. that we do them when we're camping, and I love them. I'm going to demonstrate one today, but these are a wonderful little snack. These come in a container like this. You can hear it. These are freeze-dried potatoes. So it's real potatoes. They've been shredded and freeze-dried. And it's really cool because when you open this box and open the top, you pour water in, let them sit 10 minutes. And when they come out of the box, it's double the amount that was in here. And it says it makes up to 7 servings. And it has worked for a side dish for some hash browns, is what we'll often call them here in Canada. So it's just fried potatoes, but what an easy way when camping to be able to get those fresh fried potatoes. And I add a bunch of herbs and fun stuff. But we like to do like campfire potatoes. If you have a barbecue pit, that's great. But if you have a pit and you're in a forest area and you have a safe pit, and at the end, the coals get really nice and hot, maybe there's not a lot of flame, you can take things like your potatoes wrapped in foil and put them in there and let them cook up. I tend to use a smaller potato for the cooking time. So one of the things I'm going to do with this potato, my knife is all dirty, is I'm just going to cut slices into it. And when I do this, I'm not cutting all the way through the bottom. I'm just sort of making little ridges. And you really should always do this on a cutting board. Do not follow my demo on this one, anybody. So the bottom's solid, and cut as many little strips as you can. And the reason why, the potato is going to cook a little quicker, which is amazing. We see there's some more guests coming in here. And there we have it. See Holly and another friend from Morocco. Now you can see the potatoes. And by the way, that means there's room for good stuff to get in there. So make sure you have a good foil, because you're going to put this into an open campfire. And they work well in your barbecue too. So we would put them in individual size. So you can put whatever you want in them. This one, I'm going to take some of that beautiful compound butter. I'm going to move it out of the way. I'm going to make sure it gets in between the cracks. So, and that way, that potato is going to cook with all that compound butter. And like Mom really likes her onions, we will put a couple of extra slices of onions in with that potato. And what I'm going to do, oh, that's going to be delicious. You really put anything you want in there. So we're going to fold this up. We're going to fold it up double-sided both ways, because we want thick foil all around, right? So those, I could make 10 of those up. We're sitting around in the evening by the campfire, and then it can say, hey, it's potato time. And then we can put those 10 balls in. You use your poker and make sure. There we go. And our sign went down. And just roll them around. Try not to poke holes in them, because then you're going to lose that beautiful butter. So just roll them around so they get some even cooking.
Pair of tongs.
And a pair of tongs, exactly. Thanks, Mom. So get a safe pair of tongs so you don't get burnt. And it's really better to do it at the end of your campfire when it's down at the bottom. And I'll tell you, everybody will love you for making these little potatoes. And you can have 1, 2, 3. And if you don't eat them all, they're really great cooked up following morning in a frying pan to what we call potato hash again, right? So a nice baked potato. I'm not doing the marshmallows today because the other weekend we did. So go back and watch an episode from last week. And we made s'mores But this past weekend we had the kids out. I love this particular roasting one because I can roast two at a time. But and this one also has a retractor. So it's safe when you have smaller kids to keep them a little further away from the campfire. But my favorite stick that I've used my whole life is just walk out, get a skinny branch, take the leaves off it, and now you have a marshmallow stick.
Yeah.
Which I think everybody will enjoy. Mom, I'm looking forward to my spider dog. I'm gonna look at my granola. I'm just gonna give the trail mix a stir. Yeah. Ooh. It smells delicious when I stick my head in the oven. Yeah. You can smell the cinnamon and the maple and all those different flavors coming together. So we're just gonna keep an eye on that. So one of the last things we're gonna look at is I like to bring fruit. And we've got a beautiful melon here. And what I do with these, and I've got this wonderful mint. Wish we had smell-o-vision. This was fresh picked out of the garden this morning, picked. And I love it. I have an unbelievable amount of mint growing all around my house. And I'm quite excited because some of my Moroccan friends will be arriving here in Canada. And I say, please come to my backyard and pick my mint. It grows everywhere. So I'm just gonna, there we go. What I often will say for camping, I'll bring the melon whole. And then when I get there and I know everybody's gonna be eating it, I'll cut it up. Because if you cut melon up too early, I don't find it will keep as long. And so it's just sort of a little camping tip on that one. Oh, this, and I knew this lemon was melon. I keep calling it a lemon. It's yellow. It's a lemon. It's a melon. There we go. So, and then all I need to do, and it's a honeydew melon, is I'm going to carve the seeds out. Right here. And then we're going to cut this up. Oh, is it ever fresh? I think I'm just going to get a melon facial. Came up and sprayed me right in the face. There, we'll take the seeds out of that and get those out of the way. And then you've got your melon here. I've done a few things where I will slice this melon still with the skin on and cut it almost all the way through. And what happens is when you go to use it later, it will break very easily. And then you don't need an extra container for it. You're going to check that, Mom? Thank you. Because what I am going to do with this lemon is I'm going to add a little bit of a seasoning to it. And I like mint and melon together. So I'm just going to cut that off. My board smells so amazing, just touching that mint and starting to rub it. And mom's loving the smells coming out of the oven behind me. I think it is. I'm just going to run my knife through the mint so it's a little bit smaller. And I'm going to sprinkle that mint straight across that lemon. And what's interesting is this is going to happen fast because we're going to do it here. But I would then seal this all up and put it in a bag or a container so that when I want to eat it a little bit later when I'm camping and I open it up, all that nice mint will have got the flavor, will have really gotten into the melon. And it'll be nice to be able to come and just take the section. See if I got that one right. Oh, there we go. And be able to snap that off into individual pieces. I know I didn't cut this one hard enough. There we go. And then everybody ends up with a nice Oh, wow. First of all, the fresh mint is delicious, but that melon is super ripe. And very sweet. And it tastes amazing. A little melon mint bite, Mom. I'm gonna take my potato and put it back in that hot oven.
Very good.
So we're gonna wrap up our last thing today. Because the other thing that is really important, and we do burgers a lot. Pass this burgers over, Mom. Thank you. We do burgers a lot because we love them. I think burgers are very popular all over the world. And it is National Burger Day. And for camping, one of the things that we do, and I love to do these burgers well in advance. And here I've got a burger mix that Mom's got a little bit of seasoning already in it. Went and got my hand dirty too early. And we decided these were going to be Moroccan burgers, didn't we, Mom? So Mom got into the seasoning. And this one says Milo seasoning mix, which I love. By the way, Milo was Jawad's mom in Morocco. And she made me this jar of seasoning and said, Michelle, this is my special blend. So we put about a tablespoon of the special blend into these. But what I just want to add is just a little extra freshness. And I think, Mom, you already put a egg in there, right?
Yeah.
So she's got an egg in there for a binder. So we've got our burger meat. And I like a little extra freshness and some herbs in my burger. And I find every time I have friends come and visit my home, they always compliment on how fresh the burgers are. And I tell them every time, add some fresh herbs into your burgers. And it really does make a difference when you're eating them. So I've got this less of this 1 green onion. So that's how much I'm putting into here. Big green onion there.
Yeah.
He's kind of big. So I'm going to cut that little part in half. And it's just 1 green onion. And out of this, there's probably going to be about 5 burgers here. And then, Mom, what do we usually do with these? We put them on a tray.
Put them on a tray and put them in the freezer.
I'm going to grab some time while you tell them that.
And on parchment paper and freeze them individually. I put a piece of parchment paper over top of them, put them in the freezer, wait 3 or 4 hours, take them out, snap them off the tray, put them in a plastic bag, and always have hamburgers ready. And, if you want to thaw it out before you cook it, you can. And we usually do. And put it on the barbecue or just in the frying pan. It's delicious. Then you don't have to think, what am I going to have for supper tonight? Oh, I got some hamburgers all made. So that's good.
Right?
Yeah.
So just again, adding a little bit more freshness to it. I just went out in the garden and grabbed a little fresh thyme. The other thing that's really great about thyme is you don't really have to cut it because the little leaves are so tiny. So again, we use a favorite burger mix, and I think a lot of people use the same seasoning all the time. Have fun and explore a few different flavors when you're cooking. We have mustard somewhere.
Oh, it's right here.
I'm going to add some mustard into my burgers. Mustard and mayonnaise actually act as really great binders. I don't think a lot of people know that. And it'll also add a lot of great flavor to your burgers. So in here, like we said, we've got that beautiful ground beef. We've got 1 egg that's been beaten up. We put 2 tablespoons of our Moroccan seasoning. So we know that we're going to have that. And then we top those off with those fresh onions and that fresh thyme. And like I said, everybody comments on our burger when they come over.
Yes.
About the seasoning. And you can make them into meatballs too.
Yeah.
If you really wanted to, I got a really big onion in there. We can both see it.
Yeah. Take it off here.
I'll put it in after. Not that anybody would have minded getting a giant onion.
No.
So I'm gonna cook one of these up now.
Oh.
A mini one. But I'm gonna get my hands dirty here. Let's get the melon out of the mint melon with our cherries. What other things did you always like to bring, Mom, as we're wrapping this up camping when we were kids?
With the hamburgers, you mean?
Anything, camping in general.
Oh, well, I usually made a salad, potato salad or uh,
Broccoli and cauliflower salad.
broccoli and cauliflower. Made that a lot. Once I got the recipe, everybody liked it. And pasta salad was easy to travel with.
We always had vegetables done
I
up.
cut up vegetables and I did lots of stir fry. I cut all my vegetables at home, put them in a bag. So, and then the next day we're having a stir fry. It all went in the frying pan. Then so Friday I did a lot of work at home, be preparing to go away for the weekend.
That is a good point. We
Yeah.
would do a bit of that. So we have this trusty burger maker patty, which really guarantees you getting them all at the same size
Exactly.
and the same thickness. One of the keys to getting it right, and the other thing about freezing these in advance. So I'll take my burgers just to divide it out, and I'm gonna put each one of them into a ball so that they're around the same size burger, right? So the first thing you do is take all the meat that you have, decide how much meat you want, how big you want your patties to be. And then we'll make these into balls. And then we're gonna flatten them out. And the best thing to do is do them in advance, freeze them. So when you go camping and buy they act like a freezer in your bag to keep the rest of your food cold. And then maybe burgers can be one of those ones that you eat on the first night. And then the burgers are thawed out. So as you see here on my board, we've got 5 good size burger patties. I'm gonna work this meat just one more time and really make sure that all those ingredients are together and packed in. And then I'm gonna flatten it out. And the reason why, if not, your burger's gonna fall apart on the grill. And we don't want that to happen. Keep it a little lower. And here we go. I use a little arm power on that. And then you end up with perfectly shaped burger patties, which I'm going to pick it up in a minute. Normally, what I will have been done is put them on the parchment paper while I'm making them. And you leave them out on a cookie sheet. And you just need about 20, maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes in your freezer. And then when you take them out, they're like, I am Canadian. They're like hockey pucks. So then you've got all these flat frozen patties that you can use. And Mom and I make them all year long, don't we, Mom?
Yes.
Because then we've got just in the middle of the week, I think I want a burger. And we can take one of those patties right out and be able to use it. So there we have it. We know that those burgers are going to be great. They're going to shrink up just a little bit. And those are going to be delicious patties, especially a good size if I want a double burger. So Mom's got one cooking in the back. I'm going to move this over here. I'll finish those other 2 off after. Yeah. How's that looking, Mom?
I didn't flip it yet.
All right, let's get the granola. I'll show everybody our finished granola. Wash the burger off my hands. Always be careful when you're dealing with raw meat in the kitchen. And we'll get that beautiful granola. Is it so hot?
This can be.
All right. I have a bowl right somewhere. I had a bowl for this. Here we go.
Oh, no.
So there's our beautiful granola. Whoa, second delivery. See, Shinobu was almost like coming to all the way to Japan. Right there. So it looks great. It almost looks like a giant cookie right now. And it kind of comes across like that, where it's stuck together. You see, I am going to let this cool just a little longer. I'm going to take kind of one chunk here in the corner where it's going to come out okay. But it does need to cool a little bit more. So I am going to set that. Oh, it's hot on the bottom. Mom, I'm coming around behind you. Oh, sorry. That's all right. Thank you, Mom. And there we have it. See, and how that piece breaks off. And you got beautiful bites.
Do you want me to try it for you? Okay, I will.
Helen has the best job. Taste testing.
Oh.
So like I said, you see the crispness, just light, like caramel color. Up to the bit where the honey and the maple came together. And once that gets a little harder, it'll snap. And then you can just put it into whatever size piece you want. So I hope you've enjoyed our camping snacks. Mom's got the one last burger to come out. And I'll tell you this, when I'm camping with like burgers are the other thing. That's gonna be good.
That's good.
We're missing, where's our cheese?
I don't know what you do with it.
Right behind us. I like it. Where's our cheese? I don't know. A sous chef's not keeping an eye on me, trying to open up. We introduced these lettuce last time. See where they still have the root on them? Ah, Mom's already got it loaded. This is where I like. Gonna be able to do that.
I'll slide it on.
Michelle is going to enjoy a beautiful lettuce burger. So I'm going to put a little bit more. For me, this is all I need. I'm going to put a little bit of relish. Relish is one of my favorite, especially if it's the pickle relish that already tastes like a dill pickle. And I like mayonnaise on my burgers.
Here.
Thank you. I also think it's great to travel with these squeezable mayonnaise containers because they make it easier. Perfect.
Yep.
There's Michelle's lettuce burger. So in honor of National Burger Day, and for all the campers out there, eat well, eat healthy, and remember to close your coolers up at night so that the bears and the raccoons don't get them. Here in Atlantic Canada, we often hear stories from our tourists,
Especially coons.
especially the raccoons have come along and gotten into their food, and they're quite messy.
Yes.
Quite messy. I see Dion. Has it happened to you, Dion? Yeah, I know. I did, early on we weren't paying attention. Well, sometimes if you're up late camping and then everybody's a little tired, people forget to put certain things away. And I think that we have, I believe New Brunswick raccoons are addicted to marshmallows because it's the most common thing left by the fire pit at night. So that's what we have for today. The next few weeks, like I said, you won't be seeing Mom in the kitchen with me. Mom will zoom in online with all of you. And I will be so blessed to be traveling and introducing some more incredible Moroccan flavors. And a few surprises along the way. So keep following on the YouTube channel. We're adding some short videos. We're going to be filming some other unique stuff. We very much value each one of you. And please pass along to friends and family. It's a great place to come and gather every Sunday. And we're thankful for you to spend this time with us. So we'll say goodbye, everybody. We're not going to name everybody on there because we see lots of it. But I must say to my Aunt Greta, we'll see you the end of August. I will be up in front.